Thank you, Director Chopra, for joining us today. Thank you for the critical role that you play, the CFPB plays in protecting consumers and holding bad actors accountable. I'm grateful to you and your dedicated 1,500 plus employees. Tomorrow is actually World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. And my mother for many years was a social worker to the elderly, trying to protect them from elder abuse. And so I did just want to take a moment in particular to thank you for all that the CFPB does specifically around fighting elder fraud, exploitation, and abuse. Thank you for all that you do for our most vulnerable veterans, seniors, and students. Speaking of another vulnerable group, Director Chopra, a recent New York Times review of hundreds of federal lawsuits filed against tenant screening companies highlighted how a pattern of inaccuracies in these reports led to the denial of rental housing for people across the U.S. What problems has the CFPB found with tenant screening reports and the impact they can have on finding affordable, quality housing?
I think when someone is falsely matched with the wrong report, it's almost like they've been given a different identity, and that can be relied on to foreclose them from even accessing rental housing. And in some cases, we've heard of it leading to homelessness. We have to make sure that when there's these third-party dossiers collected about people, that they're actually accurate. We have found, Congresswoman, that people with common surnames are more likely to be victim of this, and we have to make sure the law is being followed.
Thank you. So clearly a lack of regulation in the tenant screening industry is resulting in inaccurate reports and false information, in particular about people's criminal backgrounds. However, when the reports do include accurate information, housing providers often use them to deny housing to people with a record. 70 million people in the U.S., 1 in 3 adults, have a criminal record, which means the impact of this discrimination is severe and widespread. Formerly incarcerated people are 10 times more likely to be homeless than the general public. And this is not a coincidence. It's a policy choice, one with dire consequences. Director Chopra, is the issue of denying housing to people after they have completed their sentences a problem that you have heard about?
It has, and I think that's a place where the Department of Housing and Urban Development, Justice Department have also been working on.
Thank you. When formerly incarcerated people do not have stable housing, it's hard for them to access health care, secure a job, pursue greater education. Additionally, a lack of stable housing can lead to crimes of necessity to meet basic needs. So the cycles of recidivism repeat. That is why today, myself and Representative Tlaib are introducing the Housing for Formerly Incarcerated Reentry and Stable Tenancy Act, or the Housing First Act. Our legislation would disrupt the prison to homelessness pipeline by regulating what information relating to a person's criminal background should appear on a tenant screening report. Director Chopra, do you agree that by regulating the tenant screening industry on this matter, we can improve access to affordable quality housing and confront the prison to homelessness pipeline?
I think what you have said about the disruptions about return home and not being able to access a home are so serious. I look forward to working with you on that. And there's so much at stake to make sure that people who have served can really successfully re-enter.
Thank you. Again, thank you for what you do day in and day out to protect consumers and to hold bad actors accountable for the harm they cause our most vulnerable. And thank you for your expressed partnership on this matter. Housing is a human right, period. And when we deny stable housing to people with criminal records, we wrongfully punish them after they have already completed their sentences. Our bill would remove unjust barriers to housing and affirm that safe, stable housing is essential. Thank you, and I yield.